7 minutes to go. Seven minutes to go. Trying to find an article that will fit. Let's hope this one does. If not, I just kind of stop it. Red, life, my story. Could you be happier if you quit complaining? We all do it. Whether it's bitching over how busy our schedules are or wailing about how crummy the kitchen looks. Here's some incentive to stop you moaning. It might change your mood for the better. Alice Azania Jarvis went on a negativity detox and discovered that life is maybe great. It's a rainy Sunday. I'm tired, and I have work to do. I'm hunched over my laptop when I hear it. A steady drip, 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 coming from the corner by the front window. My ceiling has sprung a leak. Just as I pop a pot on the floor to catch the water, my phone rings. It's my mother. How are you? She asks. Honestly, I'm grumpy and annoyed, and the temptation to vent is immense. Instead, I bite my tongue and reply, I'm great, thanks. For the past 3 weeks, not a single complaint has passed my lips, though I've definitely felt annoyed and sometimes verging on depressed. I've resisted the urge to call someone up and share it. But before you mistake me for some preternaturally perky Pollyanna, I should explain. I'm not usually like this. It's just that, right now, I'm taking part in a 21-day no complaints challenge. It's an idea that a guy named Will Bowen came up with. He founded the movement A Complaint-Free World and has spent years urging people to give up moaning about their lives for 21 days. When we complain, we focus on what's wrong. Therefore, we perpetrate the flaw, he says. Scientific studies back him up. Researchers from the University of Missouri studied more than 400 girls and found out that when they complained, it triggered anxiety and depression. It affects grown-up women too. It takes you into a negative motion and keeps you there, explains Miriam Akhtar, a psychologist in Britain who focuses on happiness. You're going to be marinating in it, which is no good for your well-being. Still, complaining is so prevalent in our "my life is insane" culture, it's practically a status symbol. When you complain or humble brag about how much you've got going on, it's become a marker of how important you are, says Brigid Schulte, author of Overwhelmed, How to Work, Love, and Play When No One Has Time. It's so accepted these days, it's almost automatic. But it feels good to get things off your chest, doesn't it? You'd think so, but you'd be wrong. Complaining with no real purpose won't make you happier, says Robin Kowalski, PhD, professor of psychology at Clemson University, and author of Complaining, Teasing, and Other Annoying Behaviors. You shouldn't stop yourself from sharing your feelings when you're hurt or angry, or from pointing out when something isn't right, but expressive complaining, when we're just venting to vent, is destructive. Her advice? Instead of wailing, write it down, or simply pause for a moment. We have such a tendency to get caught up in a cycle of complaining and catastrophizing. Ask yourself, does the evidence really support things are as bad as I think? While I wouldn't say I'm particularly negative, I'm not immune to a good whine. My favorite complaint topics include travel, i.e. cabs and planes, not having enough hours in the day, and my inability to resist chocolate at 4 p.m. To break out of the mode, you have to practice disrupting yourself, questioning those automatic thoughts and asking yourself, is this how I really want to be living my life? Says Schultz. And I also geared myself up to give Bowen's challenge a try. On day 1, I realized how tricky it would be. An hour into the challenge, I caught myself on the verge of tweeting grumpily about running late for an appointment after rushing back home for my umbrella. That evening, when I told my partner about Bowen's plan, he laughed, saying, "What are we going to talk about?" I hate to admit it, but he had a point. Our dinner discussions almost include an element of grumbling, workloads, the weather, other people. But the next day, when a bulb blew in the kitchen, I didn't groan. Instead, I thought of some advice given to me by Andy Cope, co-author of the motivational book, Be Brilliant Every Day. To counter negative thoughts by looking for a positive, I consoled myself slightly with the fact that at least it was only one of 3 bulbs in the fixture. To my surprise, I did feel more cheerful as the days progressed. Midway through week 2, I met a friend for dinner. After we ordered, she started telling me about a stressful work situation. Her boss was away, and so her workload had doubled. At first, I sympathized. When, in 20 minutes later, she finally asked how I was, telling her my week had been pretty good, felt uncomfortably close to bragging. It made me think, whether it's at a bus stop or in the office kitchen or during a tough gym class, a mutual moan builds camaraderie. We do bond in negativity. It provides common ground, says Akhtar when I mention this. But ultimately, it's not particularly healthy. It's not going to nurture a relationship. After that, I decided things might be easier if I told people of my challenge before I saw them. While some friends were intrigued, others were skeptical. How boring, said one, maybe. Refusing to complain is a little like refusing to eat cake or gossip. In this upside-down world, it's when you don't complain that you can feel like a loser, Schulte pointed out. Still, by my 3rd week, I was more in the swing of things, and an unexpected result was increased productivity. I have to figure out, I've got 30 seconds left. I have to figure out how to wrap this up and finish and use my finish lines. I don't believe it would be realistic to give up complaining altogether. And I think there are social situations where a bit of venting is appropriate, but cutting back, I won't complain about that at all. This has been Sandy Scott reading Red Book, March 2016. Thank you for listening. Bye-bye. That's it. So that was a reading session. That's what I do. I really like it. And some days I have stupid articles, and other days I have really great articles that move me to tears.